All right, welcome everyone to our Tuesday Zoom meeting. It's Tuesday, June 2nd, 2015. We've got people in from as far away calling in as Puerto Rico, and I'm sure lots of people will be listening to the recording. We're going to be talking about, once you've shared the gift of isogenics, or some of you haven't yet but want to, what do you do once people have looked at information or expressed an interest? Where do you go from there? And kicking off the call is James Downey, who has been in the network marketing profession for over 30 years. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's an amazing trainer. So I'm just going to turn things over to him for now and eat some blueberries.
Excellent. Thanks, Steph. Well done, Al. Welcome, everybody. And today is the next step. So once you've gone through the 8 steps to getting an appointment and getting some information to somebody, then what do you do? For me, I think the most important thing is when you're talking to somebody about the information they've just seen is asking them what they love about it, because that gives you a lot of clues of what to talk about next. So if you send something to somebody based on the conversation you had, hopefully you pick the right thing that'll really spark them. But it doesn't matter. No matter what you sent them, there'll be something in there that'll give you some clues about what to talk about next. And really, it's still more of being the detective. Stephanie talked last week about being the detective, asking really good questions, asking lots of questions, using the form, family, occupation, recreation, motivators as topics. So you've already got some information about this person. You just want to check some things out, follow what your instincts were, your detective work from before, and continue on with it once they've looked at some information. I really think that when you're talking to somebody, you're not going to find just one thing. I mean, how many of when you're talking to people about isogenics, just put your hands up if there's more than one thing about isogenics that they are interested in. Yeah, it's not just I want to lose 5 or 10 pounds. And if that's the only thing we focus on, it makes it really hard to sell people into a program. Yes? So the key is, when I worked for Peak Potential, Stephanie mentioned them. One of the things that I loved about the guy that owned the company, Harv T. Eker, is he used to do something he called stacking. So if he was going to offer something, he'd start with something, he'd tell you he was going to sell you a package, but then in addition to that, he'd add on another thing and another thing and another thing, and I'll give you this free program and I'll add this in, and if you go on board right now, you get this as well. Anybody ever seen somebody do something like that? Yes? Yeah. So I think we need to have that kind of mentality when we're talking to people about isogenics. We're not just going to talk to them about the 5 or 10 pounds that they've been carrying for the last 10 years that maybe they want to lose, because the truth is, if they've been carrying 5 or 10 pounds or 10 or 20 or 30 pounds for 10 years and not done anything about it, why would now be different? So part of it is, are they ready? So Lauren, when you were asking questions, part of what you're trying to find out from somebody is, are they actually ready to do something about whatever it is that's their challenge? But I'll tell you, you start adding a few more things on it. So, if somebody tells you that they don't sleep very well, they sleep for a couple hours at a time and then they're up, or they have a very fitful sleep through the night. If they say they don't have any energy, they have kids or grandkids and they can't keep up with them. If they talk about anything that has anything to do with not having enough time or money, you start stacking some of those things. If I can show you solutions so that you can release the 10 pounds you've been carrying for 10 years and you could sleep through the night and have more energy, and we can even talk about, how to get paid enough through this program to pay for the product so that it doesn't cost you anything. Is that something you're ready to do something about right away? And then now you've got an opening for something that's, bigger than my buddy who was, selling a bottle of accelerators. It's like, no, if you want all that stuff, then this is what you need to do. And that feeds nicely into what you were saying, Lauren, is if you actually want this stuff, if you actually want the results, then you have to make a commitment. And the commitment starts with what package, what product are you buying? And if you want all these results, let's look at a president's pack. Let's start with something, or the business builder pack. Let's start with something that's going to actually give you everything that you're looking for. And you'll find that you have a lot fewer objections if somebody's looking at 3 or 4 things that they've agreed with you or things that they want to do something about. Does that make sense? Did you want to add anything to that, Steph? Then I'm going to talk about belief.
Yeah, I muted myself. I think that what you said is spot on. And, one thing I want to say, first of all, an objection or a question or whatever we call it is not a rejection. And I think that sometimes people are so afraid of even doing that follow-up and saying, what did you love about it? Because they're worried of what might happen. But if you really spend the time up front, getting to know them, doing the form questionnaire that we talked about last week, or questionnaire, or asking them those questions, and you create a desire by finding out what their goals are before you even share about Isagenix at all, you're going to so dramatically decrease any chance of objections, because people are basically then we're offering them a solution for something that they've expressed. So it's really, in a way, we're handling the objections before they come up by having good lengthy conversations and asking a lot of questions. I'm a big fan of that. So yeah, I think you said that beautifully.
Thanks, Steph. Yes, you not only are a fan of questions, it's become an art form for you. So something we can all aspire to. You want to become an Isagenix millionaire like Stephanie, learn how to ask really good questions. That's all I can say. The other thing that I've really noticed, particularly for me in the early days in this industry, the things that I was most afraid of showing up in a conversation usually did. And when I talked to other people, they didn't have the same things showing up in conversations. And I was sort of like, well, that's kind of weird. If we each talked to 10 people, you would think that on average, they'd be objecting to the same sorts of things or have questions about the same sorts of things. But what I found was that whatever it was that I was struggling a little bit with in terms of my belief kept showing up in the conversation. So if I didn't think that whatever it was that I was selling to somebody had a lot of value or didn't have as much value as what I was asking people to spend, then there would always be objections to how much it cost. If I was talking to somebody about creating some income through the business, if I thought that it was hard to fit it into my life, funny, people would say, oh, I don't have enough time to do that. So, or if I was, in the very early days, I wasn't even, I was excited about the industry, but I still had some questions. And of course, I started when I was like 18 years old. So, I had a lot of questions about a lot of stuff, but I had a lot of questions about the industry. And I was excited about it, but I didn't have a lot of belief in it yet. And it's funny, because lots of people had questions about the industry. And I find now that I've been in it a long time, I don't think there is a better industry. I don't think there's a better company. I can't imagine products that provide more value than the ones that we have. My belief in all those areas is 10 out of 10. And I don't have people asking me questions about that. I don't have people asking me, is the industry really a real thing? Because you can tell from my conversation that I believe in it 100%. And so if you believe in something 100%, it's pretty hard for somebody to knock you off that with a couple of questions. Because a lot of times people are just in those early stages of, there's something I'm not sure I understand. It's not an objection. It's just looking for clarification. And if I'm solid in my beliefs, then I can provide clarification. But if I'm a little shaky, I'm going to hear that as, oh, you're attacking something that I'm trying to sell you that I'm not too sure about. Does that make sense?
It does. And if I can I have a note exactly on that. What you said is that it says we tend to attract what we fear, and we tend to fear what we don't understand. So
Wow.
If there's something you're not clear on or rock solid on, as James said, reach out to us. We can direct you to the tools. If you're if you're uncertain as to how to ask for the social security number, any of those things, we have systems and methods and tools to help reinforce those beliefs. So if there is something, and I'd like, you know what, we will open it up for sure for discussion after, if there's a certain kind of question or objection or something that you're getting recurring in your experience, and there's something definitely that's an internal thing that we need to talk about. So yeah, I love that of course was from a Susan Sly call, her brilliance. We tend to attract what we fear, and we fear what we don't understand.
So I just want to add one more thing around questions. So questions are great until you figure out exactly what it is that's motivating somebody. Questions are great when you're making sure that somebody is willing to take action, that the things that you've uncovered are actually things that they're willing to look for solutions for and implement solutions. Where they're not great is asking them how they want to get started. In the sense of, you know, there's a time when you have enough information, I believe, that it's best to just make a strong suggestion of this is how we're going to get going. And, you know, sometimes even before you get into what pack fits for them, I love the question of, you know, chocolate, strawberry, or vanilla. Like, actually get them right into the, okay, now we're talking about exactly what it is that you're going to consume as part of your solution. So it's no longer a question of, am I doing this? You already said you have these things. You're ready to take action. So now we're just going through the process of making sure you get the product delivered to you. And you know, if you give somebody an option of a very low time and money investment, they'll usually pick it because they don't know what you know. So if I say to somebody, you can have results with a 9-day and it'll only cost this amount of money, or you can have results with a bottle of accelerator pills, then that's what people will do. But if you say to people, to get everything that you want, this is what I would recommend, and let's just get started filling out the information, then you know what? Most people would just accept that you know more than they do. And they've already asked you to help them solve their problems. They've already asked you for solutions, or you wouldn't still be talking to them. So keep being the expert. Keep being the person who is figuring out what actually is best for them. Because we know there's tremendous value in our business builder packs and our president's packs. And at the very least, 30-day. And you know, for any of you that have worked with somebody that started with a 9-day, you know how challenging it is for them to really get amazing results, and how challenging it is for them to then make the next decision, because you're asking them to make another decision before they've even had 2 weeks of experience. So take that away. You know, make sure that the decision they're making with you at the beginning is at least a 30-day commitment. And you know what? Even better if the commitment is, you know, given the things that we're resolving in your life. I mean, yes, the 5 or 10 pounds will go away fairly quickly. But once you have a great night's sleep, once you have the energy to keep up with your kids, you know, once you have the, you know, skin that looks like you just had some kind of facial procedure and you look 10 years younger, when would you ever want to give that up again? When would you ever want to go back to the way it was before? And hopefully the answer is never. So, you know, let's talk about how do we get you started, and then we can keep having conversations about how do we maintain those amazing results for you indefinitely. As far as I'm concerned, the only time you want to quit taking the product is when you stop wanting. Anything to add, Steph?
When you stop what? You cut out there. You were getting garbly again.
The only time you would stop taking the products is when you stop wanting the results that you're getting from taking it.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think that we're going to talk more about that in, you know, collecting the decision and even the whole enrollment process and everything more in depth. But I would love to, and again, I've muted everyone, so we have a nice clear line. So just kind of give me a little wait if you'd like to share, are you, and not, let's not state objections that we hear in the industry. Are there any objections or questions that you personally are getting or have gotten that you'd like help with right now? So anyone getting anything? Okay, Lauren, Ross, and then Christine. So Lauren, I'll unmute you. Okay, go ahead, Lauren.
The one, and it's an objection, but it's more of a not now. I have probably 4 people right now that have said, I'm going to get my physical, I'm going to have my doctor check it. You know, once he gives me the all clear and I get all my results, then I'll talk to you about it and things like that. And I still see them or talk to them kind of just, how are you doing? Not just necessarily the product, but my piece now is, okay, I've given them some time and I chat with them about other things. I don't mention the product or anything, just, hi, how you doing? Because, you know, they're friends on Facebook. It's, to me, is when do I go back and say, you know, did you go to the doctors? How do I get back into that conversation to say, okay, you know, are you still interested? Do you know what I mean? What do I say?
Okay, so I would, James, I'd like you to address that, but my question to you is, what did they state? Like, what kind of, did you really do a lot of that detective work up front?
So, the one that I'm chatting with at work, Kathy, she's doing it. Her husband actually wants to do the business in the winter, but he doesn't want to start till winter, so we're going to get her started on the product, but she wanted to wait. She was having her, and I just saw her yesterday when I was in Toronto, and she's, you know, I know, Lauren, she sees me and I don't say anything, and she's like, I know. And when are you ready? You know?
Okay, well, hold on a sec. Who just dialed in from 786 area code?
It's Penny. I'm so sorry I'm late.
Hey,
Hi
Penny.
there.
Welcome, welcome. I'm muting everyone unless they wave at me, but your line sounds really clear, so I won't mute you because you can't wave since you're just on the phone. Okay, so Lauren, but I'm still not getting a sense. How much of that investigation did you do with them? What were her goals? What was she really, really looking forward to changing about her life or her body?
Her number 1 is weight loss, and energy is her second. Those are her 2 big things.
Okay, and how long has she desired to release weight?
I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, so these are all questions I asked. So this is a great learning and a great thing you brought up. So in having that conversation, how long have you wanted to release that 35 pounds? Oh my gosh, 10 years, that's a long time. What else have you tried? Another really powerful question. How much money have you invested in trying to release that 30 pounds or whatever it is another great question. And what will be different in your life when that's gone? Close your eyes and imagine, we just wave a magic wand, it's all gone. What is different in your life right now? What do you feel like? What are you doing that you're not able to do now? And really that's a lot of that NLP kind of stuff, getting people to that feeling place. Because, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, James, but because this feels a little bit to me like you're getting more stalling tactics, and stalling tactics tend to happen when we haven't established enough of a need or a desire for what we're offering. James, what do you have to add to that?
Well, I think it's more than just the need or the desire. It's also the belief that you have something that will create a different result. So the first question, the first thing to figure out through questions is, do they really want the result? So that's the kind of questions that Stephanie's talking about. Imagine it's gone. If the difference between it being gone and being with them is dramatic, why would they not want it gone? But you'd still have to check in and, are you ready? Like, is this the time for it to be gone? So imagine what it's like when it's gone, and are you ready to do what it takes for it to be gone? Or for you to have the energy, or, right, to have those results? Are you ready to do what it takes? And then, the third piece that really a lot of it comes from your posture and what you've said already, and planting the seeds and what information you've sent them is, do they have the belief in you and in what you're talking about? Probably more in the belief in you, because they know you. Do you have the belief that this is the solution you're looking for? Like, are you, if you want this gone, or if you want this result and you're ready to do it now, or you're ready to do what it takes, do you believe me when I say this will work? Because sometimes people have tried so many things that they're not actually ready. So the stalling isn't I need to talk to my doctor. It isn't I don't have enough money or I don't have enough time. It's that I actually don't believe that I can do this. I don't actually believe I can get the result that we're talking about by working with you. And, that's posture and building belief. And sometimes that's why, we have to have multiple exposures. Is, people are still checking us out. They're still seeing if they can trust us. They're still seeing if they can trust the information. They're still seeing if they can trust themselves. And a lot of times it's, yes, I believe you had results. Yes, I believe your product works. No, I don't believe it'll work for me.
No.
Yeah. And I think something, Lauren, is, you say, so how do I approach it again? If you've had the conversation, then it is time to be really, and it's hard being direct sometimes. It's easier to kind of dance around it and be a by the way. But you could say something like, Susie, remember how you said you really admired what I've done, and you really are wanting to release that weight. Maybe weave in some of those other questions, and she'll say yes. I'll say, and you can say, so what is stopping you from getting started now? Just ask them, what is stopping you? Maybe they do need more information. Maybe getting on a call so that there's more social proof would be a really good thing. And then when you get that answer, and they're still stalling, just say, what if this is the thing that you've been waiting for? What if this is the thing that you've been hoping for? And more kind of NLP stuff. You can say, so Susie, you can either keep doing what you're doing and going the way you've been going, feeling exhausted, overweight, and not fitting into your clothes, or you can make a decision to join us, and then imagine when, and project it, paint that picture for them of what's going to happen by making the decision to join us. But the more you know about why, keep bringing them back to the why. Why now? She says, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. Why now? Why now? Are you ready?
And I think that what challenges me is in my head, and it's here, is I'm trying not to verbally vomit, right? So I pull back so much, I don't talk enough, but instead of just running on, it's talking with purpose, right? We're speaking with purpose instead of just, product or whatever all over myself, is asking questions instead of just spewing. So I hesitate, not because of my belief, because I don't want to just spew on them, right? I want to, you know what I mean?
But if you're doing the detective work, you can't spew. If you're in the getting to know and really curious and finding out about them, the word shake doesn't even have to come out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. How it works or that does not have to come out of your mouth. This is about them and painting a picture of what's possible. And if they're not ready, they're not ready. And there's nothing you could say or do or show them. They're just not ready. I just kind of, against my better judgment, re-enrolled a lady who swore up and down she was ready, said almost all the right things, but I have a feeling she wasn't ready. Sure enough, she's, on the program for 3 days, off the program for 5 days, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting for them. It's exhausting for us as coaches. And, so really establishing if people are ready and to make a commitment. This isn't about buying a box of stuff. This is making a commitment to creating a new lifestyle and a new outcome and building the value for them. Do they value that outcome? Because if people see enough value in the outcome, then there won't be objections about time. There won't be objections about money. There won't be objections about any of it because of the value. The value's there. When people have a time objection, time's never the objection. People find time always for the things that they value or that are important to them. Always. Mm-hmm. And you'll have people who say, I don't have enough time, yet they know the name of every bachelorette or bachelor or whatever's on, or who's on The Voice and what judges wore what on what day. So it's what they value. And that detective work up front is really important. And as far as somebody saying, of course, if they have serious health issues, I have to take it to my doctor. I mean, that one, I generally don't get that one. But, I have said to people, I said, does your doctor approve everything you eat? Like, truly, I asked that. I'm curious. Like, are you on some sort of strict regime where everything that goes in your mouth has to be approved by your doctor? Well, no. Okay. Well, has your doctor told you there are certain foods that you're not allowed to consume? No. Has your doctor told you there are certain supplements or herbs you're not allowed to have because of medications? No. Then it's a stalling tactic. And if they truly do, let's say they're on 5 medications or some health concerns are going on, then I would coach them on how to talk to the doctor. You don't go to the doctor and say, am I allowed to take this? Because the doctor, if he doesn't know about it, is going to poo-poo it. They're not going to take the time to investigate or read ingredients. But what they can say is, listen, I'm starting on a new healthier eating program, and I'd love you to monitor me while I do this. That's it. So that's how I approach the whole doctor thing. Anything else, James? And I know Christine has a question.
Lauren Raymond had a question or comment too. But just, one more thing about objections, Lauren. And, it's sometimes when you're sitting across from somebody, just the way they're responding, you kind of have a sense when they say something that it is just a stall. Like it's not a really sincere question. One of the ways to check that out is to say, so if we can solve that for you, is there anything else that would be in the way of you getting started right now? Whatever it is. So if somebody says, I want to ask my doctor, you say, okay, so assuming we can resolve that we have a solution for that, is there anything else? Not so sure about the money. Terrific. So if we can solve the money thing, is there anything else that would get in the way of you getting started? Well, maybe I should talk to my husband first. Terrific. If we can resolve that with your husband, is there anything else that would be in the way of you getting started right now? And what you're doing is you're drilling down to, is there really something here that they're just not willing to share? So that you don't get caught up in solving things that aren't actually anything other than just, if I tell them this, then I can not have to tell them the other thing, or I don't actually have to make a decision. Some people just don't like making decisions. Mm-hmm. But if you keep saying, assuming we can look after that, assuming we can resolve that for you, is there anything else? Is there anything else? Is there anything else? Is there anything else? Until they don't have any else's left. And that's terrific. So we're going to be able to resolve all those things. So maybe we should just get started now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Because lots of times it's not about the answer. Now, sometimes I've done that and it comes up that, the credit card's maxed out right now and, it's going to be a couple of weeks before I could actually put a payment through. Oh, well, okay, terrific. Now I got something I can work with. We just need a couple of weeks. Terrific. Thank you. Now I don't have to wait for the doctor, the husband, the money, the time, right? It's like, but you know, sometimes people don't like to be that honest with us because of a relationship or whatever, right? Just a way to get through the roadblocks to see if there's actually something underneath them or if they're just throwing up roadblocks.
Yeah. Is that helpful, Lauren?
Oh, it's awesome. You guys make it sound so easy.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Christine.
It's easy when you do it.
Yeah. All right. Christine was next, and then I guess Lauren Raymond after that. So I'll unmute Christine. Hey.
Hi. Hey. Okay, so James, we just finished talking, and I'm going to tell you that I'm ready, and I love chocolate and strawberry, and I can see your great skin, and I notice your great transportation, but how does it work? I get that all the time.
Are we going to do that next week, Steph? Do we want to talk about that now at all?
How does it work? No, that's a legitimate question that can happen before people say.
I see their interest. I see what they like. I see that I can solve their problems. I've done my detective work, but I can't get people without telling them how it works. Everybody wants to know how it works.
So for me, I love to let the tools tell the story. So, you know, theoretically, we're already past the stage where you've sent them some information. So, you know, for me, it's, you know, did you watch the video? You know, what did you love about it? Do you have any questions about anything that was in the video? And, you know, if you're sending them, you know, if one of the questions you get is about how does it work, then make sure you send them a video that answers those questions so that, you know, you could, when you're following up with them, it's just so, you know, what did you love? Do you have any questions? But they've already got some information, and it's coming from someplace that is a legitimate source. You know, there's something about well-done videos, which ours always are, that gives a lot of credibility. And it's way more credibility than I will ever have with anybody.
But you have them almost there. I mean, you have them almost at the tip of giving you the information, and you feel it and you sense it, and you're going to say, wait a minute, I'm going to send you another video on how to do a shake day. Why interrupt, you know, and go send them another video?
I want to say something to that, James, before you answer, if I may. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think this is, I would venture to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Christine, this is happening with people who have not looked at tools for the most part. They have not looked at a video. They have not watched anything online. They've just had a conversation with you. Would that be an accurate assessment?
It's accurate for the most part, but if I send them to iSamovie and I send them to the Are You Toxic, they still want to know how it works.
Okay, but for the most part, you're signing people up who haven't looked at videos. And I think that's a legitimate answer that James said. You may see that question decreases the more you use the tools. And James, I do want to hear what you have to say. Here's how if somebody's looked at the tools and they're like, well, exactly, you know, they're ready to sign up or are in the process of signing up, and ask the question, well, how exactly does it work? And I'll say, you know what, you're going to get a program guide. You're going to get videos on how to do it. I'm personally going to coach you through the whole thing. It's very easy. It's a very easy system to follow. So don't even worry about that. We know that it works. We know that part, how we're going to customize it to totally fit your lifestyle. So don't even give that another thought. That's what I say. I do not explain. You mix a shake in the morning, and then you can have lunch, or you can have dinner, then you can have another shake, and you have. I don't get into. I just don't do it, because that could be a deal breaker for someone. But they're just really asking for additional reassurance. And then you tell people, and I've said exactly this, and I'm sure those of you who have done three-way calls with me have heard it. It's not like we send you a box of stuff and say, good luck, let us know how it turns out. We guide you through the whole process. You are not on your own. We're here to help you succeed. So that's what I say. James, what were you going to say to that?
Well, I think the thing that makes us really different is that we coach people through the process. So, sometimes I'll just say to somebody, have you ever started something new and worked with a coach to just guide you through the process? And most people at least know what a coach does, right? So it's like, yeah, I get something new is very difficult without a coach, but you have a coach. And, we're with you every step, every moment. We'll send you materials to answer your questions. And if you have any questions at any time, not only am I available, but we're going to hook you up to our private Facebook group. And there are people on there. It's Facebook. Believe me, there's people there 24/7. You can ask a question. Somebody will have an answer for you. So there will never be anything that you don't get answered.
Super.
And then just ask him if that's okay. Like, is it okay if we just go through the, what you need to know as you need to know it, as opposed to just throwing out everything you need to know about something new right now. Like, I don't want to overwhelm you. I just want to reassure you that I'm here to answer your questions and guide you through this process.
And you could even, for this, we didn't even go into feel, felt, found, and that's definitely a valuable tool in objections. But you could say, I could totally understand how you feel, like you want to know everything, you think you need to know everything to get started. I really felt the same way. I wanted to figure it all out. And would it be okay if I shared with you what I found? And they'll nod and say yes. Say, well, what I found is that there's so much support and so much coaching. There's stuff you can read, videos you can watch, audios you can listen to. So whatever your method of learning is, it's all there to support you. And the best thing is I'm there to hold your hand and coach you through the whole process, as James said. So you really, sometimes what they're asked, like, think of what's the question behind the question. They maybe don't really want to know, like, that I have to make a shake for breakfast. What they really are, they're trying to reassure themselves they're making a decision and it's something that they can do, that's going to work for them. That's really, really, I think, the question behind the question. So, okay.
Well, and the other thing, Christine, is, and I'm sure everyone here has experienced it, where we purchase something and the box does show up at the door, and there's nobody there to ask a question. There's nobody there to help us. And we open up the box and we are just overwhelmed and we don't even know how to get started. And that's anything from, something you bought from IKEA to, to the last healthcare thing you did, right? And it's like, that's really the fear isn't, I need to know everything right now. It's, if I don't ask you everything right now, there'll be nobody to answer my questions later. So I better figure it all out now.
Great point.
So you just tell people, you know what? It's a simple day-by-day process, and we're there holding your hand all the way. And if it's somebody you know well, you can just ask, do you trust me? Do you trust me to look after you?
Love it. Oh, I like that. All right. Christine, does that answer your question?
I will try it.
Excellent. All right. And I have to say, Christine is so coachable. I know she will try it, and she will repeat it eloquently and beautifully, exactly like she heard it tonight, because I've witnessed it firsthand. She would hear me say something in a presentation, and the next day I was like, oh my God, I'm hearing myself talking. That's amazing. All right. I'm going to put you on mute. And Lauren, you had a question?
I had a comment about the past conversation, just a suggestion.
Yeah.
I think Eric Worre talks about the 1 through 10. So Lauren Ross, this was just what I was thinking too on following up. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I'm ready to start right now, where are you at? Oh, I'm at a 5 or I'm at a 7. Well, what can I do or what can I provide you, or what can I do to get you to a 10? I've actually never used it, but I know it probably works really well.
I have used it, and thank you for reminding. And actually, I have the Eric Worre book here with that specific thing underlined. So very good. Yeah, that's really good.
Excellent.
All right. Does anyone else want to give away with a question or objection or something they'd like to have addressed or hear addressed? Okay, Christine.
Let me just see the book cover. I don't own that book. Let me just see it.
Are you sure?
Yep, I don't have it.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
You
Very
know
good.
what though? I think Pedro bought the CDs. Either Pedro or Jerry did. So what, I'm not sure now. I could be, but in Miami, one of them bought this. So ask your husband. He may. It's possible.
Okay.
Possible he has it.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Anyone else? Penny, I know you can't raise your hand, but do you have anything? Penny may be muted or.
I am muted, and I wasn't close to my phone. I had my earpiece in. No, but I do want to make a comment. I love that visual, that example that James just gave about the IKEA. How many things of those have I put together, and I never was like, am I going to be able to put it? I have to talk to the IKEA person, but that's a great example of like, that's exactly what someone just wants. That was really good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, Penny. That was very good. Well, one of the things that whatever question you get, now when you're really, really brand new, then use any question as an opportunity to get people on a call. I think that's a perfect opportunity actually to do that. And of course we don't say, oh, that's a great question. Let me get you on a three-way with my upline. We don't talk like that. But let's say somebody says, let's say you're brand new and somebody says, well, how much is it? Now, generally that question does not come up early unless you're in a selling process and not an investigation process. If they ask really upfront and you maybe haven't asked all the questions and it comes up early, know that that's a sign to kind of back up a little bit. But you can say even to that, to something like, well, hold on, we haven't even determined what it is or if this is for you yet. So let's first explore if this is a fit. And if it is a fit, then we'll address pricing. And what you can, and the best way to start. And so again, go back to what results they're looking for, getting them that value. And then if it's a friend of yours or somebody, obviously that you're talking to, you can say something like, I'm really new on the program. I'm just so excited to share this amazing gift with people. And as far as cost, I know there are so many different ways to get started. There's wholesale, and there's retail, and there are different packs and everything. And I really care about you, and I want to make sure that if this is for you, that we start you in the right way. So let me get one of our coaches or my friend Stephanie or my friend Christine or whoever you're working with and whatever that relationship is. Let me get them on the phone. They've been, she's been in the business for many years, has coached hundreds of people or whatever the scenario is. And that way we can determine, first of all, if this is for you. By saying that, determining if this is for you, it takes the pressure off that they're going to be, hard sold something. So if this is for you, and if you decide it is for you, then Christine or Stephanie or James can help us, Gina can help us decide which program, and this is exactly how you can say it, which program is right for your goals, your lifestyle, and your budget. And you know what? Let me tell you, if you can afford to eat, you can afford this. And I believe that. And that's how I answer it. I don't tell people, if you say to somebody who isn't even sure if they really want this or what it is or anything, you say, oh, it's $600 or $300. That's like, what? They don't even know what they're getting. It's building that value up front. And if you say to someone, and then they said, okay, yes, I'm interested and I want to get this. And you say, well, here's what you're getting. And here's what you're getting. You're getting an account where you can purchase at wholesale versus retail, huge savings. You're going to have a multi-million-dollar website that you get. You get access to scientists and all kinds of knowledge and studies and different things if you're interested in that. There's a whole library of education and training. If they're interested in the business side of this, you can say there's You have access to training from millionaires in our company. You have access to private Facebook groups. You have access to systems to support you in reaching your goals. And with this pack, you get about over $800 worth of groceries, basically. What do you think something like that is worth? And when I've positioned it that way, I've had people say anywhere from $3,000 to $12,000. That's how much that would be worth. And then you can ask them, how much are you willing to invest in, and then restate their goals, or in your health? And, or how much are you willing to invest in on a daily basis? And as you get more experienced in talking about these things, you can say sometimes if we've gotten to the point of price, I say, listen, we have programs, a very, very basic program for $10 a day. You can step it up to a program that has a lot more goodies for $15 a day, or my favorite program, the Maximum Results Program, which works out to about $20 a day. Which would you be more comfortable investing in? And the Pacesetter and President's Pack are great packs as well, and that way it gives them options, definitely. So, does anyone have any other objections or concerns that they want to hear addressed? We're just about we are at the top of the hour. Anything else, guys? Oh, everyone's muted. Let me unmute everyone. Hold on. I don't think there's a way to do it in one click, but no, everything's nice and quiet.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Steph, that Peter Kelly does that great job of an example of stacking, very similar to what you just said, and it should be somewhere still on our training Facebook page.
Yeah.
So if you guys want an example of a really good example, if you want a really good example of somebody stacking all the benefits and then asking somebody what it's worth to them, she does a really, really great job.
Yeah. Anyway, so I cannot say enough about the value of the three-way call. That's exactly how I contacted probably about my first 28 contacts. It was all done on three-way calls, and I learned a ton doing that. So, any opportunity when you get, and you guys probably see this in the group, I'll see a question, somebody say, what do I say to somebody who has diabetes? Well, what's the answer? Get them on a three-way call. Is this okay for pregnant ladies? Let's get them on a three-way call. So use that. That is the best tool. Absolutely. You have is, of course, your story, which we worked on, and then using calls. Honestly, you guys, that is a phenomenal way to earn as you learn. So the feel, felt, found thing, I think, works for almost everything. Another question I love is if somebody says, for example, and I'm surprised nobody brought this one up, is this one of those pyramid things, or is this network marketing? I love the question, and I learned this from Danny Johnson, is what do you mean by that? Or tell me more about that. Now, if they say it with a huge disdain, you might say something like, and this is from Eric Worre's book, is like, ooh, it sounds like there might be a story there. What, did something happen? Right? And then hear them out. Let them share. 9 times out of 10, when you say, tell me more about that, they don't even know what really they mean by pyramid or whatever. They don't. But whatever you do, acknowledge and empathize with their questions. Don't get defensive. We have nothing to be defensive about. We work with in a wonderful industry. And, don't ever, if you feel hesitant about answering that question, then get solid on your belief. It's like, absolutely. Absolutely, it's network marketing. Pia, you have your hand raised. Hang on, are you? Yeah, I think you're unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, great. Well, I do have I was just talking to a lady today, actually. She's chairman of our local hospital board. And she's been seeing my success and making a lot of excuses why she can't, be on it, blah, blah, blah. And then today she said, oh, Pia, I Googled my daughter Googled your company. And, we would never try anything that's not backed up by a medical profession. And we couldn't find any studies done on this. And there's no doctors on this site that will back it up. And she's going on and on and on. And I was like, whoa, time out. And I gave her a pamphlet of isogenics again. And I said, did you type in isogenics? And, oh no, that wasn't the name we typed in. And there's about 3 ladies in my salon listening to her. And because I'm just starting in this, right, I do know that it's a doctor approved. I do know that there's medical studies done on it, but I floundered a little bit because I wasn't 100% sure how to say it that got her to believe me. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, again, so what are her goals? What are her top 3 goals? What does she desire to accomplish?
Well, this is what she's saying as she's walking out the door, kind of thing. And I said, when, you let me know your schedule and I will clear mine, and you and your daughter and me and my coach will get together and we'll answer any question that you have. And I'll be able to back it up with proof.
Okay, but what are her goals?
I didn't get into a consultation. She's just saying this as she's paying for her service with debit machine and walking out, oh, by the way, Pia, I Googled your isogenics thing, and then she went on and on. I'm assuming her goals and her daughter's will be weight loss, increased energy. She's been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Her daughter has lots of weight-related issues and gallbladder issues. So I'm sure the goals will be a long page, once we do get talking.
Right. So I personally don't share about isogenics with someone unless they've expressed a problem that we have a solution for. So that's one thing. Sometimes it's that whole, we kind of tend to put the cart before the horse, right? So if somebody, and this, Pia, you're not alone in this, trust me. When somebody will come and, somebody on the team and ask, how do I handle this? And I always say, Lauren can back me up, Gina can back me up, Christine can back me up, Joe, James, what are their top 3 goals? And if the person can't answer that, then I already know the sharing process kind of happens somehow out of order. So now to back up, I don't know if you have access to speak with her or anything. This isn't about we're going to prove to you what we have or we have proof of this. It isn't. It's about caring about what she wants to do, what she wants to accomplish, and then getting her information that's relevant. What is your concern about, the doctor thing? Now, sending people home to Google is very dangerous practice because there is especially if they're Googling isogenics and doctor, there's one doctor that's been bashing isogenics, and she bashes everything. So if that was her concerns, and what her goals are, direct her to isogenicshealth.com. Use the tools. Don't let people go searching online. James, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, when we have a chance to actually have a conversation with somebody and they get that we care about them, then, if somebody comes back to me and says, yeah, I looked at the stuff you sent me, and by the way, I Googled it and some stuff came up that wasn't so positive. I just ask them, do you trust me? Ultimately, that's what it boils down to anyway, Pia. At some level, either the person you're interacting with trusts you to be looking after their best interest, or they don't. And if they don't, you're kind of a little bit lost anyway, because it means you haven't established that trust.
Yes, that's exactly what I feel.
Connection. They don't actually know that your heart, they don't know that your heart is in it for them. So you know, it's like Steph said, when we do things in the order that best serves the person that we're looking after, we tend not to have so many of those kinds of interactions. Because if I had a conversation and then I sent somebody to one of our tools and followed up with them right away to get their questions answered on a three-way call, then there's no need for them to, you know, to Google it, or there's no need for them to think that there might be a problem, because they're looking at material that we've sent them to and we've set it up. So, you know, if Friday is the day that you could look at it, terrific, I'm phoning you Friday. And I'm going to have my coach on the line to answer your question. So they get their questions answered right away. There's no room for, you know, speculation and going off sideways on you. So, you know, look at the call we did last week about the 8 steps for getting information to people. And, you know, as much as possible, follow that. You know, the only other time it can happen is, you know, you're in a work situation talking to somebody else and somebody overhears you. So you're not actually having a chance to interact with them. And, you know, I just look at people with, you know, when people say, you know, something that's kind of sideways about the company, it's like, wow, do you really think I would be involved in something like that? Like, I'm talking about a multi-billion-dollar company that's totally ethical. That's why I'm involved with them. I wouldn't be involved with anything like you're describing.
Yeah, that's really good. And Pia, I know it might be a little challenging for you with someone in your, you know, you have someone in your chair for an hour, maybe longer if they're getting color. And it's probably a little tougher for you to not answer those questions. Well, what is it? How does it work? But you can just turn it around really and say, listen, I've got all kinds of info I'm happy to share with you. I'll send it to you. But let's talk about you. And just keep coming back to questions about them, about their goals, their life, what's going on with them, you know, instead of explaining what it is, and use the tools. Just, I mean, you're a hairstylist. I'm sure there are tools you use to get the best success in your profession of hairstyling, and there are tools we use in our profession of network marketing. Monica.
Hi. I have a quick question. Well, maybe it's also quick. I have a friend, and I've been talking to her about this, and she's liked my results I've had so far, and it makes her want to do it, but she says she wants to try it on her own, and I completely understand that. But how, I don't know how to continue. Like, she keeps trying to talk to me about it, and I keep talking, but it doesn't seem like it gets anywhere. It just kind of seems like it's stuck.
So what do you mean she wants to try what on her own?
She wants to try, like, lose it. Like, her main goal is to lose weight and to get more energy and just feel a lot better about herself. Mm-hmm. She wants to try it on her own first, and it's been around, I think, you know, I started talking to her almost a weekend, and my month is coming up. So it's been around, I would say around 3 weeks. And
right.
Yeah.
So maybe ask her again, a big question. So what does that look like for you, trying it on your own? What will you be doing? You know, and just find out what her plan is, and maybe ask, like, you've seen how this worked for me, right? And so if she says, I'm going to start eating healthier, it's like, great, this program provides that. What else are you going to do? You know, what other things are you going to do? And maybe she's just not ready yet. And maybe you have to say, well, let me know how it goes. Like, when she starts her program, check in with her after she's been doing it for a week or two and say, how are your results? And if you're ready, and say, and, you know, if she's a really good friend, you can say, look, you saw what this did for me. What do you have to lose by doing this? It's a money back guarantee program. I promise you will not get results like this from anything else. I believe that. There's nothing she could do on her own that's going to, unless she just stops eating or something really unhealthy. You know, so why not do something in a supportive community where you're going to get coaching? There's a whole community of people cheering you on, and it has a money back guarantee. I mean, what's the downside?
Right.
And if it's not for her, just say, what's okay? Would it be okay if I check in with you and keep you posted on my results? And just, some people just aren't there yet. So, good question.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Christine.
Sorry. Last thing. I have everything, and then the next thing I get is no auto-ship. Don't put me on auto-ship. I haven't talked about auto-ship, but people know. And they just say, no auto-ship. Does it matter?
Well, okay, so again, this backs up to earlier conversations. I'm talking to people about a lifestyle, about what's going to happen to them in the next 30, 60, and 90 days, okay? And I've never had somebody say no auto ship up front, but the way and again, maybe it would be worthwhile on the next call to actually do the way I do an order, like to talk through the whole order process. And it's always just, okay, so what we're going to do. So do you want to get the best pricing? Of course. Yeah. And then most people say yes. I say, so then when we get to that point, I say, for the best pricing, then we're going to set you up on, this is how I say it. I said, so assuming you get the results that you've seen in some of the videos and you've seen me get, and you do start releasing that weight and feeling better and sleeping great, and you feel wonderful, is this something you see yourself continuing as a lifestyle? And most people say yes. And I say, I want to go into this with you with the intention that it's going to work for you. You're going to fall in love with it as much as I have, and you're going to want to stay on the program forever. Now, if that doesn't happen for you and you don't like it, or you don't get the results you want, you know what? We can pack it up, send it back, you get your money back, we cancel everything, you're done. And that's how I handle even auto ship. I'll say, I do commit to you. I will help you with your first one. I help you manage it. I'm committed to people not getting things they don't want. I'm going to show you how to do all that. You're in complete charge of what you get when you get it. And I think to be completely honest, probably maybe in the last 10 years, there have been 3 people who did say no to me in auto ship out of the hundreds I've signed up. So James, do you have any way that you handle that?
Yeah, you know what, I like the one about, do you want to get the best price? Then this is how we set it up. And I usually say to somebody, listen, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to put an auto ship into the system, but we're going to be in constant touch, and somewhere in a couple of weeks, you're going to know what products you absolutely love and what ones you still want to try. And we'll go in and we'll adjust that shipment so that when you get your next order, it's exactly what you want. And if at any time you need to change it, it's yours. It's more like a magazine subscription than anything else. You can cancel it, change it, delay it. You can do whatever you like to it. It's yours.
Yeah.
And once people know that they have control over it and that they're not just going to automatically get stuff they don't want, usually the objection is gone. And it's overridden by, you're getting the best price now because we're putting that in place.
And you know what, the Eric Worre thing might work there too. Wow, it sounds like a story. Did you have a bad experience with that? And if they've been with certain companies, there are companies that it's almost impossible to cancel on auto ship. So hear them out. And then you can do also, I felt the same way because I'd had stuff. Oh my gosh, I had boxes of Melaleuca stuff that kept coming that I could not shut it off. And it drove me crazy. So I get how you feel. And what I found is that ours is so easy to manage. It's at your fingertips, basically. Soon enough, we're going to have an app to handle it. We don't quite yet. It's at your own fingertips on your own personal website. You get to be in charge of what you get and when you get it. And literally, you can make your auto ship a $1 donation to Make-A-Wish if that's what you choose. So I think that takes the pressure off. I think a lot of people feel like, I have to have 100 BV and all of that. And if they haven't expressed an interest in the income side, they don't. I mean, they can have a bottle of Ionics or a box of chocolates on their auto ship. It can be whatever they want. Okay, you guys, we've gone a little bit over. And so let's make a commitment for future weeks to be really on time, because I'm just going to start on time next time. I find myself kind of waiting for people I know are going to join. I want to respect everybody's time and finish these calls up, but it was so good. So I hope it was worth going over. Anybody want to share a couple of quick little takeaways? That's how we always end things. And then we're going to continue next week. Oh, Gina.
I want to thank you so much, because I learned something very valuable on just asking the question, geez, that sounds like there's a story behind that. Can you tell me about that? And I thought it was brilliant, because really there might be. I've had a few people go, oh, you know, for different things. So now that's a different approach, and I just want to say thank you.
Right. Thank you, Gina. Great.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I'll say that it was a good reminder. Seems like every call or every chat we have, I'm getting some things that are a reminder of getting me back to where I need to be. And the feel, felt, found is something that that's a great tool, because, you know, with objections or questions like, you know, how does it work and those kinds of things, that actually takes some pressure off of myself to personal, you know, my experience to it. So that's a good reminder. So I enjoy that one.
Thank you, Joe. And if you don't have your own personal story, you can say, you know, I kind of know how you feel. My coach actually went through the same thing. Or, you know, Joe, who was a bodybuilder, was really concerned about would it be enough protein or whatever related to that. And what he found is, right? So you can use other people's stories as well in the feel, felt, found. So awesome. Thank you, guys. So next, Pia has her hand raised. Okay. Last one. Go ahead.
Okay. I think I got this. I just wanted to say, Stephanie, that I'm sure sometimes you feel like you're backpedaling sometimes when, like, I'm just starting this, and the more I learn, the more I take in from you. It feels like it's taken me a while to get this far, but know that your support and encouragement and these tools that you're using is really helping me, even though I'm not as fast at it as other ones might be. But baby steps, and it is really helping. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Pia. And you know what? This isn't a comparison game. So don't ever compare yourself to how fast someone else is going. Believe me, I did that. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, look what they're doing and look how fast they're going. This is your journey, and we're here to support you on your journey the best we can. So thank you. That really means a lot to me. So next week, we're going to be going over how to finally collect that decision. And we'll probably do a little role play of three-way calls again, because those are very valuable. And then how to set people up for success and take them through go through the 8 steps of setting up an associate for success or a cleanser. So thank you guys so much for joining. And I love seeing all your faces every week. And share the recording with your teams, whoever you think could benefit. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you guys for investing the time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you next week.
See you next
Night.
week. Bye. Bye, Monica.
Bye, Gina.
Bye.